Now, the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California presents Suspense. Tonight, Roma Wines bring you Mr. Lloyd Nolan as star of Murder for Myra, a suspense play produced, edited, and directed for Roma Wines by William Spear. Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills, is presented for your enjoyment by Roma Wines. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Those excellent California wines that can add so much pleasantness to the way you live, to your happiness in entertaining guests, to your enjoyment of everyday meals. Yes, right now a glassful would be very pleasant, as Roma Wines bring you Lloyd Nolan in a remarkable tale of suspense.
It was raining hard. I was on the bus for Hollywoodland. Myra had said,
"Take the last bus, Ernie. That'll get you to the house at about 1:30, and I'll see to it that His Highness and I don't get home from the party until after 2. That ought to give you plenty of time to get set."
Well, I had taken the last bus, and it was 1:10, and we were coming to Beechwood Drive.
Don't ride all the way. Get off at Beechwood and Franklin and walk up, just in case.
I pulled the cord. I was following Myra's instruction to the letter. It was raining harder than ever when I got off the bus. I turned up my coat collar and started up the hill. It was 4 blocks to the house. When I got to Midway, I stopped under a tree. I was soaked to the skin. Then I saw the headlights of a car coming down the hill. I ducked behind a tree. When it had passed, I struck out again. The house was dark. I walked up the driveway to the rear.
Go in through the kitchen door. I'll leave it unlocked.
I tried the door. It opened. I stepped in. I stood still, listening for sound. Then I closed the door.
Don't turn on the light, remember now. Then look for the lipstick on the table.
I struck a match. The lipstick was on the table. The lipstick meant that the way was clear for me to go upstairs. The match went out, and I stuck the burnt end in my pocket. There was a puddle of water on the floor where I'd been standing. I got a kitchen towel and wiped it up. Then I wrung out the bottom of my trousers and wiped the floor again. I took off my coat and went to the sink and wrung out my coat, too. I looked at my watch. It was 1:55. Didn't have any too much time. Myra and the old man would be returning any minute now. So I walked into the next room. It was the dining room. The door on the other side of the room was open. Led into the hall. I could see the stairs. I walked into the hall and started upstairs. And the match went out. When I got to the top, I lit another.
Our bedroom's the first door on your right.
I opened the door. Saw the twin beds.
I'll keep him late at the party, so that by the time we get home, he ought to be pretty knocked out and fall asleep in no time. He'll have been up since 6 a.m.
And there was the clothes closet. I opened the closet door and stepped in.
You'll find the hammer on the top shelf. I'll hide it behind some old hats of mine.
I was groping for the hammer when I heard a car turning into the driveway. My first impulse was to run to get out of the house. Now that the time had come, I was afraid. I was deathly afraid. I started for the door and...
You've got to go through with it, darling. It's the only way. It's his life or mine. Don't you see? If you love me, you'll do it.
I took hold of myself. I stepped back into the closet and closed the door. I recalled thinking, this can't be me. Ernest Cobb, hiding in the dark with a hammer in my hand, waiting to kill a man I don't know. A man I've never even seen. Waiting to murder him in his sleep. This must be somebody else.
For Suspense, Roma Wines are bringing you as star Lloyd Nolan in Murder for Myra by Lee Horton and Paul Bernard.
Roma Wine's presentation tonight in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Elsa Maxwell's ideas on gracious entertaining are followed by women all over America. The other day she said this about Roma wine. One of my favorite wines is distinguished Roma California Sherry, a glorious gold and amber wine, delightfully light and nut-like in taste. Roma Sherry is ideal for any occasion, before dinner with appetizers, or during the friendly evening hours. Yes, good Roma Sherry, like all Roma wines, is always unvaryingly good. The goodness of carefully selected grapes, brought to perfection in California's choicest vineyards, gently pressed, then, unhurriedly, guided to flavor richness by Roma's ancient winemaking skill. Yet all this goodness is yours for only pennies a glass. Remember, because of uniformly fine quality at reasonable cost, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine. R-O-M-A, Roma Wines.
And now Roma Wines bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Lloyd Nolan in Murder for Myra, a narrative well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I stood in the closet and waited. I could hear voices outside in the driveway and the slam of a car door. The hangers loaded with clothes are poking me in the back, tipping me off balance. I was standing on a pair of man's shoes. His shoes. I kicked the shoes out of the way and shoved some of the hangers back and closer together. I listened for some sound from below. But everything was quiet again. And then I remembered Myra saying that they shared the driveway with the folks next door. I put down the hammer. It must have been the neighbors coming home. I opened the closet door and stepped out. Still a little time yet. In the darkness, I noticed that Myra had left one of the windows open. It was raining in. I crossed the room, closed it. There was a nightstand by each bed and an alarm clock on one of them. I never heard a clock that made so much noise, just ticking. It was cold and damp, and I was shaking from head to foot. I couldn't tell whether it was from the cold or from fear. I sat down on the edge of one of the beds. Then I decided to have another look at the hammer. In a few minutes, I was going to have to use that hammer.
It's a big, heavy one, Ernie. It'll do the trick all right.
I felt along the floor of the closet for the hammer. Then I hefted it experimentally. It was big and heavy. The kind that would smash a human skull to pulp. I looked at clothes hanging there, many of them his clothes. In the flickering light of the match, one garment caught my eye, probably because it was long and white and had big gaudy flowers on it. It was Myra's negligee. She'd been wearing it that morning when I first met her 5 months ago.
Hello. What can I do for you?
Oh, good morning. I hope you'll excuse me for bothering. You see, I'm taking a poll of homeowners.
What kind of poll?
Well, it has to do with your post-war plans.
I don't have any. My husband does the planning in this family. I just go along for the ride.
Oh, I see. Well, still, if you're not too busy, I would like to ask you a few questions.
Why not? I'm just sitting around twiddling my thumbs. Come on in.
Thanks. Thank you. It's a beautiful day outside, isn't it?
Is it? I hadn't noticed.
I sat down on the sofa and opened my portfolio. I felt ill at ease.
bare emotions do that to me. And Myra's emotions that morning were as bare as her throat in that low-cut negligee. I knew right away that she'd had a row with her old man. In my business, you get so you can figure out things like that. And it was as plain as the nose on my face. And my nose was pretty obvious that day. I'd been to the beach and I was burned to a fiery red and my nose was peeling. She laughed then. At me, I guess.
You got quite a case of sunburn, Mr.
Cobb. Ernest Cobb. Yes, I have, haven't I? That's too much beach, I guess.
I haven't been to the beach in 2 years.
Oh, don't you like it?
Sure, but what difference does that make? His Highness doesn't.
His who?
My husband. Let's have the quiz.
Oh, yeah. Yes, of course. Now, first, your name is...
Blair. Myra Blair. His name is Ray.
And his business?
He's an aircraft engineer. A scientist.
And you don't work?
No, I'm just a housewife. The little homemaker.
You don't sound as though you fancy the role, Mrs. Blair.
I hate and despise it.
Oh, that's a shame. Any children?
Yes, a daughter 4 named Julie. She's at nursery school.
And now for the questionnaire. Are you do you know whether or not your husband is planning any extensive repairs or remodeling on your home after the war?
I haven't the foggiest notion. It's like I told you. I'm part of the decorations here. What I think and how I feel doesn't count.
Oh.
I suppose you think I'm talking out of turn. Well, I am. I'm sick and tired of the whole mess. He comes home and smokes his filthy pipes and tinkers around his workshop down in the cellar, and I just sit here. Night after night, it's the same thing. Look at me. Am I so hard to take?
Well, he's probably just got his mind on other things.
Yeah, I know. Planes. That's all I hear.
That's the war, Mrs. Blair.
He's phooey. It was the same before the war started. I'm not getting any younger. I want to have some fun. Do you blame me?
But no. I think everyone's entitled to some fun and good times, Mrs. Blair.
Call me Myra. I never did like being called Mrs. Blair.
About the questionnaire. Now, perhaps you can answer me...
Phooey to the questionnaire. I'm sorry. I'm just in a nasty mood, that's all. I had a fight with him last night and another one this morning. I had to blow my top to someone. You just happen to be it.
Oh, that's all right.
About your questions, honestly, I don't have the answers. It's like I said. Sunburn of yours, you better do something about it.
Well, it does burn pretty much, all right.
My hands are cold. Does this feel good?
She bent out over me, and I could feel her breath on my ear. One lock of her hair fell away from her forehead, and it brushed my nose. Then her fingers touched my face, and I did something crazy. I reached up and grabbed her by the shoulders and kissed her on the mouth. And the next thing I knew, she was in my arms. She was kissing me and sobbing in a sort of a spilling over of emotions that left me scared and limp as a dish rag. Oh, there, that's...
You're going to change things, aren't you, big boy?
Oh, sure.
You'll help me?
Sure. I'd do anything for you. Anything. The match went out. The negligee merged back into the other clothes there. I stuffed the hammer back into the corner and came out into the room again to wait for Myra and His Highness to come home from the party. His Highness.
He's unbearable, Ernie. Every time he puts his filthy paws on me, I go all raw inside.
No matter what we did or where we went, he was always there, in her mind.
We had another fight this morning, Ernie. Do you want me to show you the black and blue marks?
And then one night when we were having dinner, it all spilled out.
There's only one answer, Ernie. I got to get rid of him.
Well, that's what I've been saying all along. You've got to divorce him.
No, Ernie. That isn't what I mean.
Well, then what?
I mean I'm going to have to do away with him.
Myra? What? You're out of your mind. You don't know what you're saying.
No, yes, I do. I've thought it all out.
Myra, don't say such a thing. Don't even think it. What you're suggesting is...
Murder, Ernie. That's right. Murder.
I didn't sleep that night. And yet, worried as I was, that the idea didn't seem real to me. Murder was something you read about, something for gangsters and madmen to traffic in. It wasn't a thing that could touch me, Ernest Cobb, or Myra. She didn't say anything about that. The next time we were together, I thought she'd come to her senses. She'd just been upset. And then one night we went rowing in Westlake Park.
He's brought a gun. He's threatened to kill me.
He wouldn't dare.
It's him or me, Ernie. I gotta get rid of him.
Well, get rid of him, yes, but not that we...
What other way is there?
I don't know, but...
What other way is there? Name it.
Well, how are you going to do it, Myra?
I'm gonna poison him. You'll help me, won't you?
No, I couldn't.
I'm not asking you to feed it to him. You can help me get a little poison, can't you?
I don't know anything about poisons, Myra. I don't know anything about murder.
Well, you can learn, can't you? If you're that dumb, maybe I can find someone else.
Myra.
There are others who'd be glad to help.
Please, don't talk like that, Myra.
Well,
you know I'd do anything for you.
there's a better way, Ernie.
What?
He's got a big, heavy hammer down in his workshop, Ernie. You could do the trick easy.
Oh, no. No, Myra, not me. I'd do anything in the world for you, Myra. Anything,
But the one thing that'd help me out of this mess. It's his life or mine, Ernie. If you love me, you'd do it.
I can't do that. I can't.
You'd leave it for me to do.
No,
It'd be a cinch, Ernie. You could sneak into the house some night when we were out and hide until we get home. With that hammer, it'd be all over in a second. And then we'd say a burglar came.
No, Myra, no.
Oh, you don't love me, really. It's all just talk.
No, it isn't. You know better than that. I worship you, Myra. I couldn't live without you.
Ernie, if you want me, you've got to do it. You've got to, Ernie.
All right, Myra. I suppose I knew I'd have to. It's just a little hard to get used to the idea, that's all. But I'll do it.
I looked at my watch. It was 2:10. They'd be home soon. I lost my nerve once. I started downstairs and someone walked past the house, that's all. Just walked past the house. I ran back up into that bedroom with my heart pounding so that it drowned out the sound of the clock. Then the headlights of a car flashed across the wall. A car that was turning into their driveway. There was no mistaking it this time. This was it. I could hear the voices of a man and a woman. The woman's voice was Myra's. Slam up a car door. Footsteps on the cement driveway. I eased back into the closet once more. Felt for the hammer on the floor and closed the door. All but a little crack. Then I heard the front door open and close. Somebody walking upstairs.
Come on, Julie, wake up. Wake up. Come on. I've got to get undressed. Go to bed.
It was Myra. The kid was asleep and she was carrying her.
That's the girl. Stand up. That's it. Turn around, darling. Come on, we can unbutton your dress. There. You go in your own room, dear. Take off your shoes. Mom will be right in.
I heard her walking toward the closet.
Ernie, are you there?
Yes. I knew she was standing there, but I couldn't see her. I groped for her in the darkness. My hand touched her shoulder, and then she was in my arms, her body pressed against mine, and I was kissing her.
Did you find the hammer?
Oh, Myra,
Did you find the hammer?
Yeah, the hammer, yes.
He's putting up the car. He'll be up in a minute.
Myra, it's all off. I can't do it.
You've got to.
I can't do it.
Ernie, listen to me.
I can't. I tell you I
Shut
can't.
up and listen to me. Ernie, you say you love me.
Oh, you know I do. I worship
And
you.
you want me, don't you?
More than anything in the world.
All right, then. If you want me, you've got to do it.
But
Mommy! Coming, darling. Quick, Ernie, you'll do it.
I'll do it. Of course I'll do it.
I knew you would.
Mommy!
She kissed me and closed the door. And then I heard him coming upstairs. He came into the room and switched on the light. I heard him moving around. I figured he was undressing and getting ready for bed.
Well, is she she asleep?
She will be in a minute.
Well, that kid isn't getting enough sleep, Myra.
Now, don't start that again, please. Where are you going?
Oh, the clothes closet to get my pajamas. Why?
I held my breath.
I'll get them for you.
I flattened myself against the wall. She opened the door, reached for the pajamas. Our eyes met for an instant, and she was gone. The door closed.
Here you are.
Well, thanks. What are you hiding in there?
What do you mean hiding?
Well, the way you made a dive for that door, I thought...
Nuts. What would I be hiding?
I don't know. I just said...
What are you doing?
Say, what's the matter with you tonight, Myra?
There's nothing the matter with me. Why?
Oh, you're so jumpy.
Well, can't I ask you what you're doing? Fooling with the clock?
Sure, but why jump out of your skin? I'm just setting the alarm.
It's already set.
I'm setting it ahead for 4 o'clock.
Why?
Because I got to be at the plant at 5 this morning. I've got a trial run.
Oh.
This was something we hadn't figured on. I looked at my watch.
Well, it's 3 now. You won't get much sleep.
I know it, but I can't help it.
Don't put the clock on my table. Put it on your side where it always is.
Oh, okay, if it's so important. Hey, how did all this water get on the floor here?
Through the window, I suppose.
Oh, no, but it's closed.
I closed it when I came up. We left it open.
Oh.
Well, if you're getting up at 4, you better get to sleep, don't you think?
Oh, I guess so.
I heard them get into bed.
Well, good night.
Good night, Myra.
The stage was set. I breathed easy. Now, I'd only have to wait for him to... Then the thought struck me. Suppose he doesn't fall asleep right away. Suppose he doesn't fall asleep at all. He isn't so tired. Even if it is late. He doesn't sound knocked out to me. And before he can get to sleep, the alarm will go off and I looked at my watch. It was exactly 5 minutes past 3. This will never do. I thought I got to get a hold of myself. I've got nearly an hour yet, and in that time he ought to... I listened. I couldn't hear a sound. Was he asleep? He might be, but I didn't know. I had to be sure. I'd wait half an hour. And if I didn't hear anything by then, I could be pretty certain he was. The minutes dragged on, and I listened. When the half hour was up and I hadn't heard a sound, I sat down on the floor, took off my shoes, and I picked up the hammer and turned the doorknob. I turned it very slowly. It made no sound. Then I opened the door and stepped into the room.
Who's there? Who's there?
Daddy, I want a drink of water.
Oh, it's you. All right, baby, just a minute.
What? What's the matter?
Oh, it's the kid. She wants a drink of water.
Oh, no, don't get up. Don't get up, Ray. Go back to sleep. I'll get it.
I stepped back into the clothes closet and closed the door. I felt the blood drain from my head. I leaned against the wall. I heard Myra go into the kid's room. And then I slid to the floor. I guess I must have passed out then, or fainted or something. Because the next thing I remembered was sitting up, startled, wondering where I was. I looked at my watch. It was 3 minutes to 4. I remembered now where I was and what I was there for. I was in the closet. There was a man on the other side of the door that I had to kill before an alarm went off. And the alarm went off at 4. I remembered that I had to be very quiet because the man was asleep. Everything I did from that time on was automatic. I acted like a man in a dream. I picked up the hammer and stood up. I opened the door and crept into the room. I could see the hands of the clock by his bed. It was almost 4. I didn't breathe. I only listened. I touched the foot of the bed. myself along the side of it until I reached the headboard. Now, I was standing over him. I raised the hammer over my head and swung down. And I hit him again, and again, and again. And then I yelled, Myra, turn it off, will you? Quick, the alarm. Hey, Myra, over the corner. And then the light went on. And I was looking at a man sitting up in the other bed. And he was pointing a gun at me.
Hello, Ernie. I moved the clock. You saved me a lot of trouble.
I looked down at the bed I was standing over. And I saw Myra. And blood. And the hammer. And suddenly I felt an insane desire to laugh. And then a sob caught in my throat. I couldn't control myself. I started to laugh. I couldn't stop.
Roma Wines have brought you Lloyd Nolan as star of Murder for Myra. Tonight's study in Suspense.
This is Truman Bradley for Roma Wines, the sponsor of Suspense. August, one of the warmest months, calls for tall, frosty iced drinks. And famous hostess Elsa Maxwell recently said, I've discovered the perfect hot weather drink. Wonderfully cooling and refreshing. One that guests really go for. I mean, Roma Wine and Soda, made with distinguished Roma, California Burgundy, or Sauterne. Yes, Roma Wine and Soda is simple to prepare. Half-fill tall glasses with Roma Burgundy or Sauterne. Add ice cubes, sparkling water, and a bit of sugar. And for a decorative touch, garnish with cherries or fruit. And be sure to use Roma wine, always uniformly good, yet costs only pennies a glass, so you can serve it often. And next time you use vermouth, choose Roma vermouth, sweet or dry. Zestful, full-flavored Roma vermouth is blended and developed with all the traditional wine-making skill of Roma wineries, is made and bottled in the heart of California's famous vineyards, yet surprisingly low-priced. Try Roma vermouth soon, won't you?
Lloyd Nolan appeared through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox and will soon be seen in their production Captain Eddie. Next Thursday, 3 of radio's most distinguished actors whom you have heard often in this series will be stars of Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills.
Presented by Roma Wines, R-O-M-A, made in California, for enjoyment throughout the world. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Now, the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California presents Suspense. Tonight,
Roma Wines bring you Short Order, a suspense play produced, edited, and directed for Roma Wines by William Spear.
Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills, is presented for your enjoyment by Roma Wines. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Those excellent California wines that can add so much pleasantness to the way you live, to your happiness in entertaining guests, to your enjoyment of everyday meals. Yes, right now a glass full would be very pleasant. As Roma Wines bring you Short Order, a remarkable tale of suspense.
Thank you very, very much, and come back. All right. Bailey's Diner. Oh, this is Mr. Bailey speaking. Oh, I'm sorry. You're just a little late on that. Yeah, I hired a fry cook day before yesterday. Well, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell the newspaper to stop running that ad until this morning. Yeah, I got a good man. No, one man's all I need. I have a small place here. That's all right. Well, thank you. Bye. Now, you see, Johnson, you better keep on your toes. Plenty of people after your job. If you're not careful, you know.
Well, what's the matter? Don't you want to take my money?
What? Oh, sure, yes. Of course, that's 75 out of 1. 5, 1. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Good Lord, Johnson, did you see that man's face?
You're telling me.
Oh, it's enough to haunt your dreams.
Kind of made you nervous, did he, Mr. Bailey?
Well, it's sort of a shock to look up and see you.
Yeah. I noticed you hung kind of close to that gun you keep under the cash register.
Oh, did I? Automatic reflex, I guess. Oh, poor guy, I ought to be ashamed. Probably got that way in an explosion accident or something. I can't understand it, though. There's no reason for anybody to go around looking like that. Not with the things plastic surgery can do nowadays.
I guess he likes his face like Frankenstein.
Oh, here you are. Enjoyed that. Oh, thank you. Come back. Right. Yes, sir. He liked your cooking, too, Johnson. 2 deluxe sandwiches, 2 coffees. That's not bad, you know.
Right.
Well, seems to me business has been picking up ever since you started working here. Just thought you'd like to know.
Well, thanks.
Like this work, Johnson?
It'll do. The hours kind of get me sometimes, and when the rush starts in half an hour, I can't pretend I'll be liking it. It's all right.
Well, someday you'll have a place of your own, be your own boss. You never get anywhere working for someone else, you know.
I'm doing okay now, Mr. Bailey.
Oh, sure. You'll never go hungry for lack of a job. You're too good a cook. But, I mean, your own business. Now, you take me. I'm doing well, even if I do say so. People come here to eat. All right, I see they get it. Well, it makes you feel pretty good having your own place. Makes the saving and all the scraping seem worthwhile.
You seem to get the business. Of course, you got a terrific location.
Well, this place has a name that means something. At least, I think it has. Well, as a matter of fact, a man was in here trying to buy it just last week.
That's so?
That's right. Real estate agent. Name is Sloan. Had a customer.
Who's his customer?
Oh, I don't know, but I told him I didn't want to sell. Oh, here, how about opening that refrigerator door for me, will you?
Okay.
Anyway, thank you. No, I'm not going to sell. I couldn't afford to. I'm not in a position to retire, and the way things are, it'd be too hard to start up somewhere else. Uh-oh, here we go again. Good evening.
Yes, sir? What'll it be?
Oh, I reckon I'll have a special.
Righto, coming up.
Oh, good evening. Still chilly out?
Ah, yeah, a little. Thought some of your chili would warm me up. Get it?
Chili, yeah, I get it. That's very
Chili,
good.
coming up.
Bailey's place. Oh, Virginia, what's... What? What? All the windows? Well, who would possibly... Well, where were you? Well, why would anyone want... Oh, no. None of those kids would do a thing like that. No, they're all nice... hoodlums, I guess. Well, I don't know what you can do. No witnesses or anything. Rocks, huh? That's the funniest thing. Well, I guess there's nothing you can do. Well, dear, I wish I could, too, but I've got to stay here. Yes, dear. Goodbye.
Bad news, Mr. Bailey?
The darndest thing. Some hoodlums or somebody just broke every window in my house. I don't know what to...
Hey, Bailey. This a new kind of bread you got here? It's better than usual.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah.
Well, it costs a little more, but... Good evening.
Hello.
Good Lord.
Yes, sir. What'll it be?
Hamburger and coffee.
Right. How'll you have the hamburger?
Well done.
Cream in the coffee?
No. Black.
Right.
Hey, Bailey, come here a minute, will you?
Yes, pardon me.
Hey, did you see the face on that fellow who came in here a minute ago?
Yes, I did. It's pretty bad, isn't it?
Bad, I'll say. Boy, I can stand a lot of things, but that gets me. Why, I've left half my meal on my plate.
Oh.
I was enjoying myself until that came in and sat over there, and then I didn't want anything anymore.
That's too bad. Look, don't pay.
Oh, no, it's not your fault. Maybe mine. Hey, how do you suppose he got that way?
Oh, a burn, perhaps. Maybe some other kind of accident. I wouldn't know.
Gee, that's the worst I ever saw.
Well, it's too bad whatever happened.
Oh, sure is. Yeah.
Certainly is.
Too bad.
Hey, you.
Uh-oh.
Ketchup.
Okay. Here you are.
What? This little paper cup? Where's the bottle?
I'm sorry, but ketchup's hard to get. That's all we can serve anybody.
Profiteers.
Well, will there be anything more?
No.
Okay, a check. Pay at the desk. Thank you. Mr. Bailey.
Yes, Johnson?
How's your luck?
Oh, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Why?
The way I figure, somebody around here is sure gonna need plenty of luck.
Why?
I don't know. I just got a feeling. If that isn't bad luck sitting back there at the counter, I'll eat this grill here. And I never saw a recipe for making a steel grill tender. We better order some more of everything for tomorrow, Mr. Bailey.
Oh, running low, are we, Johnson?
A little. If they keep hitting the barbecues the way they have so far this evening, I'm sure we'll be needing it.
All right, I'll make a note of it.
Lucky we got any unspoiled meat left after that guy who was in here twice yesterday. I thought the milk had sour. Bingo, just like that when he looked at it. Yeah, but it didn't.
Now, Johnson, you shouldn't talk like that. He can't help it. You know he can't. We should feel sorry for him, not joke about it.
I'm sorry. Sure, you gotta have sympathy for a guy like that. Just the same, I hate to look at it.
Well, I guess we'll have to look at it some more. I think he's coming up to the door right now. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, sir. What'll it be?
Hamburger and coffee. Make the coffee black.
Right.
Make that hamburger well done.
Okay.
Oh, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. What for you?
Why, I think I'll have... Holy...
How's that?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Oh, in fact, I don't want anything. I just remembered an appointment. Just forget it.
Well, what do you know? Your hamburger, mister, and your coffee.
Ketchup, please.
Okay.
Still no bottle?
No bottle, I'm sorry.
Here. You go buy an extra bottle and put it back on the shelf. Just for me.
You gonna eat here some more?
Yeah, I like this place. Go on, take that and see that you get some good ketchup, too.
Well, it ain't that, mister. It ain't the money, but, well, you can't buy the stuff when they don't stock it. Well, you better ask Mr. Bailey. Mr. Bailey.
Yes, Johnson?
Well, you tell him.
I just gave your man some money to buy a bottle of ketchup, but he doesn't want to take it.
Well, you see, sir, it's not that we can't afford to buy ketchup. No, indeed. We want to please the customer. Something a lot of people seem to have forgotten how to do nowadays. Ketchup is very hard to get just now, and we have to ask our customers to bear with us. No, you keep your money.
I like plenty of ketchup. Nothing like ketchup, I always say.
Well, there ought to be enough in that paper cup. Won't that do you?
No, not quite. Any chance of a refill?
Oh, afraid that's all we can allow.
Gentleman says he's going to eat here regular.
What?
I said the
just a moment. Good evening.
Hello, how are you?
Could I do something for you?
Well, I sort of thought no, thank you.
Well,
We hadn't finished our discussion.
Yeah. As I was saying, Mr. Bailey, it looks like we got ourselves a regular customer.
3 evenings now that he's been eating here, Johnson. I wish you'd take a look at the figures. Now, take last night. Ordinarily, there'd be $10 to $20 worth of business just between 6 to 6:30 alone. From 6 to 10, how much? $1.35 worth.
Yeah, I know. Some of them won't even order. Some of them take a few bites and quit.
Well, at least it's not the food. We can be thankful for that. Hey, tell me, Johnson, how can you stand it over there in front of him all the time?
Well, mostly I keep looking someplace else. That's why I took down the mirror. For a while, I thought I'd just work along and not look at him. But I couldn't help looking in the mirror every now and then. So I think maybe the customers could stand it better without the glass, too.
If they get to the sitting down stage, yeah.
Yeah, if they do. Well, anyway, I took it down.
Now, it might help if he didn't get up every now and then and walk over to the door to look out. People can't help seeing him then.
Takes him a long time to eat, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Say, I've got an idea.
What's that?
Well, when he comes in... evening.
Hello.
Yes, sir?
The usual.
Right.
Oh, by the way, Mr. What's your name? Well, as I was saying, neighbor, we make a practice here for our special customers. Not just anybody, mind you, but our very special customers of sending meals out. Now, I was thinking, since you become one of our regular customers, that perhaps you'd appreciate it if I'd send your evening meal over to you every day at your room. Well, how does that strike you?
No, thanks. Rather eat here.
Well, we don't have any comfortable chairs, no jukebox, no radio.
That's okay. Don't miss them anyway.
Well, it's not very comfortable. A lot of food odor in the air. You know, sometimes I get sick of it myself.
I like it. Not too many people around. Nice place. Suits me.
Oh, then you're not interested.
That's the idea.
Hamburger and coffee.
How about the...
Yeah, the ketchup. Here it is.
Good. Nothing like ketchup, I always say. Oh, by the way...
Yeah?
Look for me about noon tomorrow. I think I'll be taking lunch with you from now on, every day.
For Suspense, Roma Wines are bringing you a cast of Hollywood's outstanding radio actors in short order by John F. Souter. Roma Wines' presentation tonight in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Between the acts of Suspense, this is Ted Myers for Roma Wines. Elsa Maxwell is an acknowledged expert on the niceties of dining and entertaining. Recently she said, "Gracious little touches can do so much to make meals more enjoyable. Dine by subdued light. If possible, adjust radio or phonograph for soft, mellow music. And as the crowning touch, serve well-chilled Roma California Sauterne." A most excellent idea from Miss Maxwell. Good Roma Sauterne is pale gold, delightful in bouquet, and even more important, exquisite in taste. Created in the Roma tradition, Roma Sauterne is always unvaryingly good. The goodness of luscious grapes selected at peak of flavor richness in sunny California's choicest vineyards. Carefully pressed, then unhurriedly, guided to perfection by the ancient wine skill of Roma's famed wineries. Good Roma wines are always delicious, yet cost only pennies a glass. Remember, because of uniformly fine quality at reasonable cost, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine. R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. And now, Roma Wines bring back to our Hollywood sound stage Joseph Kearns as Bailey, Conrad Binion as his assistant Johnson, and Gerald Moore as the stranger in Short Order. A play well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Frankly, Johnson, I'm at my wit's end. What are we going to do?
Well, I don't know. I got no more ideas.
2 weeks now, and we're losing money every day.
I could cook it so I wouldn't want to eat it.
Yes, but you've tried that, haven't you?
Twice.
It didn't work.
That's right.
Well, I don't know what we're going to do. Just a minute, Johnson.
Okay, I'll check on the bun supply.
Yeah. Hello, Bailey's place. Oh, yeah. Here, dear. Oh, no. Well, you must have misplaced it, honey. Have you looked? Every place, huh? Well, how much was in it? Oh, no. Well, what are we going to do for the rest of the week? Well, I can't, honey. I really can't. Oh, about $3 or something. I don't know. But I know, but it's just dropped off to nothing during the last week. Oh, no, he's fine. Now, don't say that, honey. Nothing the matter with Johnson. And I'm not going to get a new cook. What? Well, I haven't told you, but... Well, why don't you cut down on a few things once in a while? Oh. Johnson, is there any aspirin back there?
Yeah, you want the bottle?
Yes, my head's splitting.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, here he is. Now, look, I got an idea. You back me up?
Oh, what is it?
Well, I'll try it, and if you don't like it, don't say nothing.
Hello.
Like I say, Mr. Bailey, this kid was a pretty game fighter. He didn't have a thing but a hard
Mind
left.
if I butt in?
So-
I'd like to eat.
You bring your lunch with you?
What's that?
If you brought your lunch, okay. Lay it on the counter and eat it.
Don't be funny, Johnson. Bring me the usual.
I got other things to do.
What other things? I don't see any other customers. You want me to call the boss?
Look, mister, I don't like you, see, and I'm tired of seeing you around. You go someplace else and eat.
We'll see about that. Hey, Bailey.
Yes, sir? What can I do for you?
This moron you call a cook says he won't serve me.
Yes?
I'll do something about it.
What do you want me to do?
Tell him to serve me or else you'll have to fire him.
Johnson's a good cook. Good cooks are scarce nowadays.
What is this? Are you standing up for him?
I just told you, good cooks are hard to get.
What about customers?
Well, it's too bad, but I mean...
I see. Well, look, both of you. I came in here to get something to eat, and I'm going to get it. If I have to sit here all night.
Suit yourself?
Yes, if I... Oh, I'll get it. Hello, Bailey's place. Yes, dear, I am busy. What? Wrecked? Where? Were you in it? Were you hurt? Parked in front of the house. Oh, I don't know what's happening, Virginia. It seems every time I... Well, of course, dear, I'm glad you were in the house. But how bad was it? Almost a complete wreck. Well, could they find out anything from the driver of the other car? I mean, did he have any insurance? No, they never do they? Huh? Oh, no, I'm all right, dear. I'm about going out of my mind is all. It's getting so I'm afraid to answer this telephone. Well, we'll just have to do without a car, that's all. I'm sorry, dear. All right. Yeah, all right. Goodbye.
Hey, Mr. Bailey.
Yes.
Oh, what's the matter, Mr. Bailey? Bad news?
Wrecked my car. Right in front of my own house. Of course, he had no insurance, no money to pay for it.
That's tough. Yeah, that is tough.
Him.
Yeah.
Him. Look at him.
Still sitting there, waiting.
I'll have to think of something, but just now I can't seem to think at all.
I'm stopped, too. Boy, you sure get the luck, don't you?
No, it's the matter. I never used to have luck like this. It's just lately. Just since he started coming in here.
Yeah, it could be. Looked like bad news right from the start to me.
There he sits. If we could get him out of here once and for all. Hey, wait a minute. Go to the door and see if Ryan's inside. If he is, go and call him, will you?
I wouldn't do... Okay. Yeah, right outside. Oh, Ryan, would you come here a minute?
Okay.
Mr. Bailey wants to see you.
Oh, what can I do for you, Mr. Bailey? You see that man sitting at the counter? I want him either arrested or thrown out of here. I don't care which.
Oh, that's so? Giving you trouble, is he? Hey, you.
You're talking to me?
Nobody else. Come here. Oh, Mr. Bailey, what's the charge?
The charge? Well, making a nuisance of himself.
What's this? All I do is come in here to eat, and I'm making a nuisance of myself. I don't get it.
Well, look at him, Ryan.
I am. Not very pretty, is he?
Officer, the law doesn't give you the right to criticize a man's face.
Oh, I'm sorry, mister. Hello, Mr.
Well,
Bailey.
every day he comes in here 2 or 3 times. I can't get anybody else to come near the place while he's here. He stays and he stays. He drives most of my business away.
I have to eat. Same as anybody else.
Will he do anything bad? Get tough, insult people, disturb the peace?
Well, no.
All I do is come in here and eat.
Look, we reserve the right to refuse service to any customer.
I don't know now, Mr. Bailey. It's all very well, but technically speaking...
What do you mean?
He means that even if you don't like it, you can't run me out if I mind my own business. He means you can't run me out if I ask you to serve me.
Huh? How about that?
Well...
And if I ask for something to eat and offer you money for it, you gotta sell it to me.
Oh, no, I don't.
No, you'd better. Or I'll have you in court before you know it.
Afraid he's right about that, Mr. Bailey.
Oh. All right.
Sorry I can't help you, Mr. Bailey. Is there anything else?
No.
I'll be getting on then.
Night.
Well, how about it?
All right. Go on. Sit down. Johnson, get him what he wants.
Okay.
I'm not going to answer it. I'm not going to answer it.
Mr. Bailey, the phone, you busted it. Hey, Mr. Bailey, put that gun down. What are you going to do?
You'll see. Now, look here, you. I can be pushed just so far. Now, either you get out of this place and don't come back, or as sure as I'm standing here, I'm going to pull this trigger.
Go away. I'm hungry.
I'm not kidding. You hear what I said?
I hear you. Now go away.
I'll count 3. 1.
Go away.
2. 3.
Coffee, black.
Huh. I can't believe it. I shot you point blank. Huh. Good Lord!
Don't forget the ketchup, you.
Well, you got the lay of the place now, Mr. Tanner. You figure on making any changes?
No. Bailey had a good thing here. Better leave it just the way it was. We'll hold the trade easier if we do.
How did he seem when the deal was closed?
I can't say. Let the lawyers handle everything.
He took a beating on the deal, or I don't know you.
Oh, not too much. I figure he recovered about 70% of his investment. He was lucky. I felt sorry for him.
You didn't talk to him at all, huh?
No. Didn't even see him.
You think he'd know you, even without the makeup?
Maybe. No use taking chances, huh?
Lucky I changed the bullets in that gun for blanks, or you'd be a dead pigeon.
Yes, I'm glad I foresaw that possibility.
You might say I saved your life, huh?
You might. Don't worry, Johnson. You'll be taken care of.
I'm not worrying. I never had reason to yet, have I?
No. But just for your information, Johnson, we haven't committed any crime. We didn't take this place away from Bailey by force. We didn't swindle him. I paid money right on the line for it. Just remember that.
Oh, I will. Customer. Mr. Bailey, come right in.
Hello, Johnson.
Come on, have a seat. Oh, by the way, you know Mr. Tanner, don't you? He bought the place.
No, I've never met him. Glad to know you.
A pleasure, Mr. Bailey.
Well, there's something familiar about you. Maybe I did meet you someplace before.
I was in once or twice. Looked the place over before I had Sloan talk to you.
Oh, yeah, that's it, huh? How you making out?
Just getting started. I'm sort of breaking Mr. Tanner in, you might say.
Well, I hope you have better luck than I did. I was doing fine until a certain man started coming in. Johnson knows the man, I mean. Has he been in today, Johnson?
No. It's funny, he stopped coming in as soon as you left.
Is that so?
This man... Well, it's a wonder I have any mind left. Tell the truth, I'm not even sure I do.
Mr. Bailey, would you let me fix you something while you're here?
Huh? Oh, no, thanks. No, I'm not hungry.
We got some good steak.
Steak? No kidding. No, thanks, Johnson. Not even any steak.
Okay, you're the boss.
Boss? No, not anymore. I would like to step behind the counter one last time just to sort of look around. You don't mind, do you, Mr. Tanner?
Oh, come right ahead.
Oh, thanks. Well, you haven't changed anything, I see.
Not a thing. We intend to operate the same way you did. I think it'll pay.
Thanks for the compliment. Hope you don't draw my luck.
How about some coffee, Mr. Bailey? You look tired.
Coffee? Well, that sounds like a good idea. I don't mind if I do.
Yours is cream and sugar, right?
No, thanks. I'll take it black this time. Ooh. Say, coffee is scalding.
Yeah, I forgot to cut the burner back, and that whole tankful is plenty hot.
Well, it's too hot for me just now. I'll have to let it cool off. I'll take one last look. Things I won't be seeing for a while. Buns, butter pats, coffee cream. It's funny how you miss things like these. Mustard and ketchup. Ketchup? Did you get all this ketchup, Johnson?
Why,
I ordered those.
Ordered them? Well, so did I, but I never even got a look at a bottle of ketchup. You're lucky.
Yeah, well, all in knowing how, I guess.
Yes, I guess you're right.
I rather like it myself. You know, nothing like ketchup, I always say.
What?
I said I'm rather fond of ketchup, and...
Fond of ketchup? I think I know who you are now, Tanner. I think I know who you are, that face. Sure, that face. Makeup, wasn't it? That face. And Johnson had to be in on it, too, with you, didn't he? Johnson helped you, didn't he, Tanner? He fixed the gun, didn't he? Didn't he, Tanner?
Bailey, wait a minute.
You admit it. I'm telling you the truth. Isn't that so, Tanner?
Hey, Bailey, stop! Hold him up, Mr. Tanner, I'll get a cop. Hey, please, Ryan, help!
Coffee. You always take it black, don't you?
Here, Ryan, quick! Hey, Mr. Tanner! Good Lord, the coffee! His face!
Oh, now then, what's this?
It's all right, Ryan. There's nothing wrong, Ryan. Nothing really wrong. That's not his real face, Ryan. He likes it that way. Don't let him fool you. Well, what else do you want? Oh, yes, ketchup. Plenty of ketchup. Nothing like ketchup, I always say. Roma Wines have brought you Short Order with Joseph Kearns, Conrad Binion, and Gerald Moore as stars of tonight's study in Suspense. This is Ted Myers with a word for Roma Wines, the sponsor of Suspense. During the warm weather, nothing tastes quite so good as a tall, frosty Roma wine and soda. And as Elsa Maxwell recently remarked, serving Roma wine and soda is smart 1945-style hospitality. You'll find this delightful iced drink as refreshing as it is delicious. Yes, and Roma wine and soda is so easy to prepare. Half-fill tall glasses with Roma, California Burgundy, or Sauterne. Add ice cubes and a bit of sugar. And for a decorative touch, garnish with cherries or fruit. And for a delightful aperitif, sip delicious Roma sweet vermouth, well chilled. Zestful, full-flavored Roma vermouth, both sweet and dry, is blended and developed with all the traditional wine-making skill of Roma wineries. Is made and bottled in the heart of California's famous vineyards, yet surprisingly low-priced. Try Roma vermouth soon, won't you? Ladies and gentlemen, next Thursday, you will hear Dane Clark as star of Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrill. Presented by Roma Wines, R-O-M-A, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Now, the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California presents Suspense.
Tonight, Roma Wines bring you Dane Clark, as star of This Will Kill You. That's a
suspense play produced, edited, and directed for Roma Wines by William Spear. Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills, is presented for your enjoyment by Roma Wines. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Those excellent California wines that can add so much pleasantness to the way you live, to your happiness and entertaining guests, to your enjoyment of everyday meals. Yes, right now a glassful would be very pleasant as Roma Wines bring you Dane Clark in a remarkable tale of suspense.
Listen, get a load of this. This'll kill you. I got a story that should be written up by one of those big magazine writers. Only mine is true. The whole thing is true, so help me. You know, they say truth is stranger than fiction, don't they? Well, get this. I was working down at the Acme Engineering, an outfit making hydraulic valves for gun turrets. And we had a foreman named Charlie Harris, one of those big, good-looking guys who thought he was a big shot because he was a boss. Well, this guy was always picking on me. Like, for instance, one morning I come to work a few minutes late and this Harris says,
Well, good afternoon, Jordan.
Save those gags for Jack Benny. It's only 8:15.
Well, get here at 8 and you'll be spared my sense of humor.
Well, ain't a guy got a right to get here a couple of minutes late once in a while?
Yeah, sure, once in a while, Joe, but not every other day.
Oh, gee, Charlie, my alarm clock's on a bum. You know you can't buy a new one these days.
Oh, save that for the teacher. Now, come on, Joe, come on, get on the ball.
Save that for the teacher, he said. Always throwing up to me that he graduated from engineering school and I never even had a chance to go to high school. As if you need an education to be a smart guy. Well, I could tell you 100 guys who never even went to school could buy and sell that guy a million... Well, that's another story. Anyway, this Charlie Harris kept giving me the needle.
Joe, can I talk to you for a minute?
What is it now, Chief?
Quit calling me Chief. Now, look, kid, look. I don't know what's wrong, but you're slowing up. The other boys are turning out 100 parts a day, and you're only averaging 80. Now, what's the trouble, Joe?
Well, I don't know. My eyes hurt. This work gets tough on the eyes, and I got to stop once in a while. My eyes hurt bad.
You complained last week, too, Joe, and the company doctor's report said there was nothing wrong.
Ah, what does that quack know?
All right. Now, quit the complaints and get on the job, Joe. We've still got a war on our hands, even though you and a lot of other guys have forgotten it since Germany took the count.
There's a war on. Did you get that? At the time, he was technically right, but giving me the business just because he didn't like me, waving the flag and singing, "Oh, say, can you see?" Look, I am just as patriotic as him or any other guy. Could I help it if my eyes hurt bad? But he had to go make a big thing out of it just because I got in the habit of stepping out a little here and there, and he found out. Well, ain't a guy got a right to have a little fun once in a while just because those Japs are still popping away? So my eyes hurt a little the next day. Is that so terrible? Are the Japs going to win a war just because I've had a little fun? Well, anyway, he keeps picking on me and picking on me. And one day while I was knocking my brains out, Joe! Oh, let me ride in the wide open spaces that I love. Don't offend me. Joe! What? Yeah?
Now, look, Joe, look. I don't like playing cops, but you know there's oil and gasoline all over the place.
Yeah?
And that a cigarette dropped into one of those pools could burn the plant down?
So what?
So read the sign beside your machine.
Well, I can read it, Charlie.
Go on, read it.
No smoking.
Drop that cigarette.
Why, what cigarette, Charlie?
You stupid jerk. Why, I'll break your head for that. Oh, you will, eh? Oh!
I would have mobilized the guy, but he hit me a lucky punch. Never would have happened again in a million years, but... Well, he knocked me out. Charlie was standing by the cot when I came to looking worried, and he started to apologize, but I gave him a quick brush. Why, that stinking rat, he was scared of me. That's why he didn't report me to the front office. He acted as if he were doing me a big thing by not snitching, but it was because he was scared of me. He thought I'd forget. Joe Jordan never forgets. Remember that. And Joe Jordan always gets even. But I played my cards right. I didn't let him know I was still sore. Now, that was smart, wasn't it? I went on working as if nothing happened. Even though the rest of the guys started picking on me, too. Because he was the boss and they were trying to get in good with him, they kept it after me every day until I thought my head would explode. Always rubbing it in.
Hey, Jack Dempsey, still leading with your chin?
Quit using my tools all the time, Joe.
Hey, Joe, you ain't smoking again, are you? You're liable to get another lucky punch from Charlie.
Hey, quit throwing your shavings on my machine, Joe.
I used to get splitting headaches from the pounding on my brain. Well, you would, too, getting it from all sides like that, wouldn't you? It wasn't so bad during the day. The machine drowned out the noise in my head, but at night, that pounding would start, steady like my machine, banging away all the time so I couldn't sleep. It might have got another guy, but not me. Not me. I'm too tough. And I got plans for Joe Jordan. Be a big guy someday with my brains. No foreman of some small-time outfit. Be head man of the biggest shop in town with a classy car, a big house with servants, and a beautiful wife. Yeah, beautiful wife. And I had her all picked out. Her name was Harriet Slayton. She was a stenographer at Acme. All the guys was on the make for her, but, well, she had a yen for me. Not that she ever said anything, but I can tell. You see, I know dance. Well, at the water cooler this day, I managed to bump her as I got a paper cup and... Oh, pardonnez-moi.
Oh, you speak French.
Oh, a little. I knew a guy from Paris, France once, and he taught me a couple of things. Cherchez la femme. Comment says, allez-vous.
Quite an accent. Excuse me, Joe, I got to get back to
No, wait a minute. I got a lot of accomplishments. I'm a good dancer, too. Did you know that I took second place in the jitterbug contest at Ocean Park last year?
No, I didn't.
Huh? The Olympics?
No, I'm sort of on the conservative side.
Well, I can do the square stuff, too.
We must have a dance sometime. Excuse me, Joe, I'm
wait, Harriet, I just happened to think. How about going on a company dance with me on Friday?
I'm very sorry, Joe, but I can't.
Why, aren't you going?
Yes, but I have a date with Charlie.
Charlie who?
Charlie Harris.
Charlie Harris. He moved into my life. Then he moved into my head and he started banging. And now he moved in with my girl. That guy was doing everything he could to burn me up. He knew I was going to ask Harry to the dance, but he beat me to it. Okay, I said to myself, I can wait a week. But I'll get to dance with that little lady, and once I get her in my arms and I show her a couple of steps, she won't want to dance with him again. Well, it was a long week, and I kept hearing reports that Charlie and Harriet were engaged. But that was just to burn me up, see? And then came the dance.
Hey, didn't you bring a dame, Joe?
I got a doll here, pal.
Where is she? Dancing with some other guy?
Yeah, she's dancing with some other guy.
Don't stand there with egg all over your face. If my dame was dancing with another guy, you can bet I'd cut in.
Well, that's a good idea. Pardon me, I'm cutting in.
Oh, no, you're not, Joe.
Look, I wasn't asking the pleasure of you, Charlie. Now, if you don't mind...
It's our favorite number, Joe.
Well, why can't I cut in once? Just because he's a big foreman or something?
No, because you're the big dope.
Dope. You get that? He called me a dope. But he didn't know I was smart. You know, all good things ain't on the surface, you know. I went home, I tried to sleep, but the pounding on my brain was coming like a sledgehammer. Bang, 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 and I could hear her laughing at me. That dirty, double-crossing dame laughing at me. And the bang in my head was coming louder and louder and crashing against my brain, exploding on my forehead. And then the pounding stopped. And for the first time in weeks, there was silence in my head. That soft, cool quiet, like Sunday morning when you were a kid and no one was awake in the house but you. Like Christmas night after the excitement was over and you went to bed and you thought about the new sled and the wonderful dinner you just ate. And there was peace on earth, and then I got the idea. No more pounding in my head now. I was going to eliminate the cause of the pounding, kill the root. Yeah, I was going to kill two birds with one stone. Charlie Harris was going to burn for murder. And the murder? The murder of Harriet Slate.
For Suspense, Roma Wines are bringing you as star Dane Clark in This Will Kill You by I.A. Finley. Roma Wines' presentation tonight in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Here's a suggestion from the internationally renowned hostess, Elsa Maxwell, who says this about smart and gracious hospitality. Next time you entertain, flatter your guests by serving glorious gold and amber Roma California sherry. Perfect before dinner, perfect at any time. A most delightful wine of light, nut-like taste. Serve cooled. From California's choicest vineyards come the carefully selected wine grapes for distinguished Roma sherry and all fine Roma wines. Remember, good Roma wines never vary in fine quality, are always pleasing, the happy result of selected grapes, carefully picked at their peak of flavor goodness, gently pressed, then unhurriedly guided to perfection by the ancient skill of Roma's famed wineries. Yes, good Roma wines are always delicious, yet cost only pennies a glass. Remember, because of uniformly fine quality at reasonable cost, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine. R-O-M-A, Roma wines.
And now, Roma Wines bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Dane Clark in This Will Kill You, a narrative well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Are you still with me? Well, listen. Like I was telling you, I decided to kill Harriet and pin the rap on Charlie. Fooled you, didn't I? You thought I was going to knock off Charlie myself, didn't you? No. The law was going to do that. You see? You get the switch? Now get this. I knew how I was going to knock off the dame, and I knew how I was going to pin the blame on Charlie. But the only thing missing was the motive. You understand the motive? So before I killed her, I started supplying the motive. Every day down at the plant, I dropped something here and I dropped something there to the guys. Hey, I just heard that Charlie and Harriet was having an argument down the hall.
Oh, lover spat, probably.
No, I understand things aren't so hot shot between those two.
Oh, you're crazy, Joe.
Well, that's what I heard. Hey, Charlie's been doing a lot of bowling these nights, hasn't he?
Yeah, he loves it.
Well, he didn't seem to when he and Harriet were so palsy-walsy.
I heard something about that, but I don't believe it.
No, I do. I heard him arguing plenty in the hall the other day. Say, did you hear that Charlie and Harriet had a big blow-off last night? Something about another guy?
Yeah, I heard things weren't going so hot with those two lately. Listen, did you hear that Harriet and Charlie had a big scrap the other night?
Old news, Marty. It's old news. I understand she's got a guy up north, and Charlie is burning.
Oh, he ought to bust her head wide open. It'd serve her right for two-timing a white guy like Charlie.
There was the motive. Signed, sealed, wrapped up in a big red ribbon and ready to be delivered. Now, was that smart or was that smart? The next afternoon, I heard Charlie making a date with her for that night. He didn't know it, but it was going to be his last date. When the 5 o'clock whistle blew, Charlie went in to wash his hands. I slipped over to his workbench. I grabbed the steel pipe he used on his drill press, and I clipped it under my coat. I wore gloves so my fingerprints wouldn't show on it. Smart, huh? Only Charlie's fingerprints were on the pipe. I waited outside the plant, and a little while Charlie walked by. Got a minute, Charlie?
Huh? Yeah, I guess so.
Look, there's an idea I've been working on that can speed production in our department. Now, can I talk to you tonight for an hour or so?
Oh, I'm sorry, Joe. I can't tonight. I got a date with an angel.
But, Charlie, with my idea, each man can turn out 200 valves a day easy. I got it all worked out in a model in my room. Can't you make it tonight?
Look, Joe, I told you I got a date.
Oh, fine. You're always giving me that patriotic stuff when it doesn't cost you anything.
Huh?
Okay, Charlie, I took you up on it. I've been giving up my nights to work on this idea I have. Now, look, I don't expect nothing out of it. But when I ask you to give up a measly hour, you're too busy. Now, why can't you come up after your date?
Whoa. Easy there, Joe, easy.
Oh.
I didn't know you were so hot about all this. Okay, if it means so much to you. Look, suppose I leave my girl about 11 and get to your room a few minutes later, huh?
Gee, you're swell, Charlie, swell. I'll be waiting for you. Now, look, I may be out for a minute or two to get a pack of butts or something, but the door will be open, so will you wait for me?
Yeah, sure. Okay. I'll see you later.
You sure will. Everything was working out just like I planned. Pretty good for a dumb guy, huh? I grabbed a bite of dinner, and then I dropped over to Charlie's boarding house. He lived on the first floor in the back. I looked at his window, and it was open. Perfect. I waited until dark. I pushed up the window, and I dropped in. It took only a few seconds to find what I wanted. A handkerchief with Charlie's initials on it. I was outside and walking down the street before I had a chance to even get nervous. I killed time till about 10:30, and then I drove over to Harriet's house, and I waited across the street. In a little while, Harriet and Charlie walked up. And they talked, and then Charlie looked at his watch, and he kissed her goodnight. Kissed her goodnight. I waited for a few minutes after he left, and I walked up to her room and knocked on the door.
Who's there?
It's me, Harriet. It's Joe Jordan. I got something to tell you about Charlie.
What is it, Joe?
Don't get nervous. Nothing's happened. I'm just playing a little trick on Charlie.
Oh, you had me scared for a second. Come on in, Joe. I was just making a little home recording of the song on the radio. You know, singing along with the band. I know Charlie will get a big kick out of it.
That's your favorite song, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Charlie, too. We love it.
You really go for that guy, don't you?
Is there any question about it? Joe, we were going to tell everybody in a few days anyway, so you may as well know now. Charlie and I are going to be married in 3 weeks when we get our vacation. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, that's wonderful. Only you're taking your vacation a little sooner than that, baby.
What do you mean?
You're not marrying him or anybody else.
Are you kidding? Get out of here, you big dope.
Oh, I'm a big dope, huh? I'm a big dope.
Joe. What are you going to do with it? Joe, no.
I did it. It was done. I looked at the clock. It was 11:10. He'd just be getting to my room now. 5 minutes to kill. Hey, did you get that? Now I had time to kill. That was a good one, wasn't it? I dropped Charlie's handkerchief on the floor, then messed up the joint to look like a struggle. And I waited till 11:15, and then I smashed the clock. It stopped dead. Did you hear that one? The clock stopped dead. Good, huh? I dropped the steel pipe on the floor, blew the place fast, and raced home. I ran up the stairs worried that maybe Charlie had left, but he was still there.
Well, where have you been, Joe? I was just getting ready to leave.
Oh, I'm sorry, Charlie. I got stuck.
Oh, okay. Where's the model you were talking about?
Oh, gee, I'm sorry to drag you all the way over here for nothing. It's still at the welder's. I thought it would be here sure by tonight. Can we make it tomorrow?
Oh, you're a corker, Joe. You've messed up my whole evening.
I sure did. I kept chewing the fat with Charlie about this and that until I was sure he wouldn't get home until late. And then I dropped off to a nice, restful sleep. The next morning, I was on the job at 8 on the dot. Charlie was there already, but that didn't worry me. It wouldn't be for long. And about an hour later, the kids in the front office came up and said something to Charlie, and he left the shop. Now, that was it. Those were the dicks, and Charlie was a dead pigeon. I went on with my work, not doing very much, just faking, because I knew I was going to be next. And I was. The same kid came at lunchtime and told me I was wanted at the front gate. Got a little nervous when I saw the two big coppers, but as soon as they spoke, I felt it was going to be all right.
Joe Jordan?
Yeah? Yeah, that's me.
I'm Lieutenant Sullivan, Homicide Squad. It's Sergeant Carter.
Hello.
Hop in. Hope you don't mind coming down to headquarters with us when I ask you a couple of questions.
No, I don't mind. What's it all about?
Where were you last night, Jordan?
Last night? Well, I hit the hay early.
What time?
I was awful tired. I had a tough day at the shop yesterday. I guess it was about 9:30.
Did you see Charlie Harris last night?
No, I saw him when we left the plant yesterday about 5, but... Hey, wait a minute. Where's Charlie now? He left the shop about 10 this morning.
Never mind. But he says he was in your room at 11:15.
Says he was in my room. Well, maybe he was. No, Charlie Harris is a white guy. He don't lie. If he says so, then he's probably right.
I thought you said you went to bed about 9:30.
Well, I did. Maybe I was asleep when he came, and maybe I was talking in my sleep when he was there. I wouldn't want to do anything to contradict Charlie. Say, what are you guys trying to pin on me? If Charlie's in a jam, I got to know what he said because I got to back him
David,
up.
kid. Tell me.
Huh?
Do you know Harriet Slate?
Why, that no good two-timing dame double-crossing a good guy like Charlie. Why, he was telling me yesterday when we left the plant yesterday that he was going to get it settled last night once and for all. As a matter of fact, he... Say, what are you guys smiling at? Did I say something? Why, did I say anything to make Charlie... Smart, huh? I handled that smart, didn't I? Do you see now how I worked the whole thing out? Every little detail? Remember now how I planned it that night in bed when the pounding stopped like I told you before? Oh, the trial was a cinch. The DA had all the evidence he needed and a little more. Charlie was with her that night? Proved. The steel pipe was his, wasn't it? Proved. There were his fingerprints on it, wasn't they? Proved. And the motive? The boys in the plant furnished that. They were perfect witnesses. They liked Charlie. They tried to help him, but they had to admit the stories that were going around. And the piece de resistance, that's French, was the way I knocked his alibi for a loop. Now do you see why I smashed the clock at 11:15? Do you? It was airtight.
Charles Harris, will you rise and come before the court? Charles Harris, a jury of your peers have found you guilty of murder in the first degree, and I...
Oh, boy, what a day. You should have seen him. He stood there trying to put on the big shot stuff even then, trying to act like he wasn't scared. But I could tell he was ready to faint right there and then. But the newspaper guys were taking him, they said he stood straight and fine and brave, like a soldier facing a firing squad. That's what they said, the dope. But I knew he was yellow. Or else he wouldn't have picked on me just because he was boss, would he? Would he? Huh? So you see, I was smarter than he thought, than anybody thought, even the DA and those dicks. Now, there was a funny situation for you, wasn't it? The real murderer was in court furnishing the testimony that convicted that poor... and no one knew it. That's a good one, isn't it, huh? Isn't that wonderful, Father, huh? Wasn't that marvelous? The real guy was in court.
It's time, Father.
Be brave now, Joseph. We must go.
Well, all right, Father, but let me tell you the punchline.
Come on, Joe. It's time.
Now, will you quit a warden so we'll be a minute late? So you'll pay the guy who pulled the switch a minute overtime. The state can afford it. I've been telling Father here the whole story. I got to tell him to snap it, don't I?
Let him finish, Warden. Go on, my son.
Well, you see, it was a fluke, Father. 1,000,000 to 1 shot. They never would have got me if not for just one thing. One little mistake, Father. You see, the night I knocked the doll off, she up and told me that she was making a recording of that song on the radio. She told me, do you hear? And I forget all about it. So all the time I was spilling my guts to Harriet, that machine was taking down every word. And I forgot about it. Why, if I had only thought of the record, if I only smashed it that night. But I didn't. Then Harriet's old lady got a hold of her stuff, and months later she decided to play the record, and she heard the whole thing. My whole confession, just as if I spilled it to the ditch.
Father. We must go now, Joseph.
Okay, Father. I'm coming. Come on, Warden. Come on. Watch a real man walk down the last mile.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down.
You seen plenty of guys walking down this road, didn't you, Warden, huh? I bet none of them ever took it as good as me, did they? They say guys crack up on this little walk, don't they? Not me. I got guts. I bet Charlie would have cracked up by now, huh, Warden? You know, those newspaper guys said he stood straight and fine and brave that day. He wouldn't be saying that way now, would he, Warden? He'd be screaming his yellow head off. He wouldn't be taking it like me. See, there's nothing to be scared of. Guy pulls a little switch, it's all over. They say you don't feel a thing. You don't feel nothing, do you, Warden? But you should know, you see plenty of it. It doesn't hurt. Does it? I would have been a big man in this town. Fancy car. Big house with servants. Beautiful wife. It's a beautiful wife, but I got a tough break. You know what? 1 in a million, I tell you, but it's all in the game, see? Come see, come saw. It's French, you know. I'm taking it pretty good, ain't I? Nobody take it like me. Nobody. Not many of them, do they? Do they, Warden, huh? Do you think the paper will say I stood straight and fine and brave? Like a guy facing the firing squad, huh? Do you? I'm taking it pretty good, ain't I, Warden? Ain't I, Father? Tell me. I said, tell me. I'm not afraid. You hear me? I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to burn. Look, I'm wet. Aha! Aha! No, don't take me in there. Oh, God. Please don't take me in there.
Roma Wines have brought you Dane Clark as star of This Will Kill You. Tonight's study in Suspense.
Before Dane Clark returns to our microphone, this is Truman Bradley for Roma Wines, the sponsor of Suspense. As the temperature goes up, so does the popularity of tall, frosty, thirst-quenching drinks. And as Elsa Maxwell recently said, one of my favorite iced drinks, and one everybody enjoys, is the delightful to look at, delicious to sip Roma Wine and Soda, made with distinguished Roma California wines. And, Miss Maxwell might have added, made so easily, too. Half-fill tall glasses with Roma California Burgundy or Sauterne. Add ice cubes and sparkling water and a bit of sugar. And for a decorative touch, garnish with fruit or cherries. Good Roma wine is unvaryingly delicious, always pleasing, yet costs only pennies a glass. And next time you use vermouth, choose Roma vermouth, sweet or dry. Zestful, full-flavored Roma vermouth is blended and developed with all the traditional wine-making skill of Roma wineries. Is made and bottled in the heart of California's famous vineyards, yet surprisingly low-priced. Try Roma vermouth soon, won't you?
This is Dane Clark. It's been a great pleasure, as always, to make an appearance here on Suspense. Mr. Spear wanted me to pass along to you the word, which I know will be of interest to many thousands of listeners, and that is that 2 weeks from tonight, on September the 6th, in response to overwhelming public demand, Suspense will again bring you the Lucille Fletcher Study in Terror, Sorry Wrong Number, starring Agnes Moorehead. That's the show you remember about the woman on the telephone. It's certainly one of the landmarks of radio. Next Thursday, you will hear Peter Lorre in a suspense play, which also promises to be most unusual. I know you will want to be listening as I will.
Dane Clark appeared through the courtesy of Warner Brothers and is currently being seen in their production, Pride of the Marines. Next Thursday, you will hear Peter Lorre as star of Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills.
Presented by Roma Wines, R-O-M-A, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.